Well, a lot of people do continue to work from home, but what are the economic effects, you have to wonder? Well, we have an expert here to talk more about this. Richard Becker with Texas Retirement Planner joins me now with his 2 cents. Good morning to you. Welcome to Houston's Morning Show.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's talk about those secret costs of working from home.
Sure, there are a lot of obvious costs and there's some indirect costs. I think the obvious costs are staying at home increases your utility bill. You're probably spending more on food. I think some of the more indirect costs would be, setting up a home office. For example, you have to put in a desk, a printer, a Zoom camera, maybe a fax machine and other office supplies. So that can get expensive. I think what most people don't realize, well, there's two other things, is that if you move from another state, you may have had to pay more for rent or mortgage if you embrace the work from home lifestyle because of inflation since COVID. Housing costs have gone up. The other thing is, if you move from a place where you're working remotely that does have a state income tax, you are most likely still responsible for paying taxes in the state you're working in remotely. So if you do work in a state where you do have state income tax, you may have to pay withholding, file a non-residence tax return, and make sure you keep track of your days and time and work with a tax professional to make sure you're on track legally with your taxes in those states.
Okay, so maybe you could write it off and that would help a whole lot. Okay, so we talked about the fact that it can cost you something to work at home. There's no free rides, right? But you can also save money if you work from home. So you can kind of look at it both ways. What would some of those savings that someone might want to think about?
Yeah, I think, again, the obvious cost would be, obviously, you're saving on fuel costs and vehicle maintenance. A lot of people have even gone down to one car. And for professionals like me, I'm spending a lot less money on going out to lunch or networking, business breakfasts, things of that nature. So the other thing is, since the pandemic, a lot of surveys have shown that people are more focused on saving money, which is a positive also.
Oh, it is. Okay, so maybe we can balance that a little bit and hopefully somehow figure out a way to save more than we're going to spend if you're working for home, because it seems like a lot of those expenses, if you're setting up that home office you talked about, might be up front, other than that electrical bill you mentioned. But let's talk about if you do have some savings going on. It can be easy just to say, we're in a pandemic, I'm bored, I'm going to go spend that money. But what is a really good way that we could make this benefit us? Hopefully not for just today, but for perhaps years to come, if you're able to really get a nest egg that maybe you haven't been able to do before?
Yeah, that's a great question. What we recommend is that you actually line item budget your savings. So ideally, you want to save 15% of whatever you make. And that will allow you to, ideally overcome any financial emergencies that you do have, and also dedicate additional money to your long-term financial goals like retirement planning. So, if you do have any issues budgeting, I suggest you go to our website at texasrp.net and download a free budgeting worksheet and investment information. And I also suggest that you work with a financial professional to make sure that you are on target, measuring where you are on a periodic basis, because retirement planning and financial planning is a process, not a product. So you need to be on top of it, stay informed.
And I know that you work with a lot of people and have throughout the pandemic. How do you feel like people are faring? Do you feel like they are able to save right now, or is everyone just trying to kind of get by?
I do feel for most people, they've welcomed the opportunity and are saving money. And of course, I think there's about a 10% at risk for my personal clients. About 10% are at risk, and may have had to dig into their savings. There's also been a lot of fear in the market. That's pretty much subsided since the pandemic. So, it's a state of flux. It's a day-by-day thing. But I'm here to keep people informed and keep them inspired and on the right path, ideally.
Well, Richard Becker, we are thankful for that. Thank you for the great tips.
Thanks.
I hope it helps somebody out. Great to see you this morning.
Thanks, Melissa. Take care.
All right, you do the same. Hope you enjoy your Labor Day.